Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to a new what I eat in a day with some more recipes I made recently. For breakfast I baked my waffle batter, which turns into this breakfast muffin bake. For the batter I do 1/3 cup of oat milk and I just mix that together with a tablespoon of lemon juice. It creates like a vegan buttermilk, so I then just left that to combine for around 10 minutes. Meanwhile, in a mixing bowl I added 1/3 cup of spelt flour and 1/3 cup of oat flour. Then I added in 1/2 scoop of vanilla protein powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, as well as a pinch of sea salt. I then just combined the dry ingredients together with a whisk. To that I then poured in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then I poured in that oat milk, lemon juice, buttermilk mixture. I added in a small handful of raspberries and also some blueberries. You can add in whatever you like to this really. I then just lightly combined it all with a spatula until all of the dry mix was well turned through the wet mix. I had preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius and then I just wiped some ramekins with coconut oil, then divided the batter between the two. You can really see the cake batter consistency it has at this point, and I then just placed those in the oven to bake for around 25 minutes. I just left them to cool down a little once done, but these turned out amazing, so light and fluffy in the middle, but a nice crispy cake top. You could also do this in a small baking dish, which I've done before, but these turned out more like little souffle / muffins. I had this with a little yogurt, my favourite Alpro Greek style, and then I just broke up the breakfast bake and crumbled it over the yogurt, and I added on some more fresh fruit, just chopped up some strawberries and added in some blueberries too. This is like having cake for breakfast but a healthier bake. I usually go for spelt flour now for the higher protein content, but plain flour works exactly the same way if you wanted to use that instead. And as I said, you can make these any flavour you like. You could do lemon poppy seed, chocolate chip. This batter works every single time. I use it for my waffles. I've also used it for pancakes. It's so light and delicious. For lunch I had hummus toast with beans, peas and greens. I boiled up a pan of water and then I added roughly around 1/4 cup of broad beans in, as well as 1/4 cup of peas. Just let those cook through for a couple of minutes. I put some protein bread in the toaster to toast. I keep a loaf of this in my freezer now and then just defrost it while toasting. It lasts so much longer that way. I spread some hummus on top once it was toasted, and then I cut 1/2 an avocado up into cubes, added that into a bowl, and then I put some spinach in a sieve to then drain the beans and peas over it to wilt it down slightly. I then just added everything back into the pan to continue cooking for a few more minutes until the spinach had wilted right down. I then added the spinach, beans and peas into the avocado, picked some fresh mint from the garden and just tore that in. Coriander works great too. I then grated in the zest of around 1/2 a lemon and squeezed in the juice of 1/2. Then I seasoned with some flaky salt and some dried chili flakes. Gave that all a light mix through together and then added it on top of the hummus toast. I grated over some more lemon zest and added on a lot more chili flakes, and that was it. In terms of summer lunches, this was great, really filling with the high protein from the soybean bread that I use, the hummus, the peas and the beans, but also really refreshing with lots of flavours from the zesty lemon and the chili, which gives it a nice kick of heat. Again, this is something you can completely change up. You could do this with edamame beans, you could use watercress instead of the spinach, you could add in some garlic, spring onions, different herbs. Really versatile, and anything on toast is just my go-to kind of lunch. Although we're in July, it's been super cold in Ireland, hence the jumper, and so I made a matcha latte in the afternoon. Mixed up my matcha first, and then I decided to try making this with some vanilla milk. I always have vanilla in my matcha anyway, and usually add in either extract or vanilla bean paste. Never tried making it with vanilla milk before, and this was the first time I tried this one. It was nice, not too sweet. It's a barista milk as well, so it frothed up really nicely too. I heated up some of that in a pan, then mixed in my matcha. I had that with a Rhythm 108 soft baked cookie, the peanut butter and chocolate one. I've mentioned these before, they are so good. The chocolate and hazelnut one is my favourite, but I only had peanut butter ones left. And for a fresh baked cookie in a packet, this is a paper packet by the way, which is great. They're so soft and delicious with this incredible peanut butter filling and crushed peanuts over the top. I love all of the Rhythm 108 snacks, and these are definitely a favourite. Then for dinner, I made some Thai basil tempeh mince noodles. I always boil my tempeh for 10 minutes. I find it takes away that slightly bitter taste and improves the texture a little bit. So I did that and then just set it aside. I then finally minced up some garlic. This was a single whole clove. I'd say the equivalent of 3 to 4 cloves from a bulb. Really finely minced that up. Then I took a stick of lemongrass, just trimmed the ends, removed the outer skin, bashed it with the end of my knife, and again really finely minced that up. I peeled a good chunk of ginger. Using a teaspoon works really well for this. I finally minced that up too, and then I deseeded a red chilli and minced that up as well. I added a 1/4 cup of olive oil to a pan and just warmed that through. Then I added in the garlic, the ginger, the chilli and the lemongrass, and just lightly fried those off in the oil until it smelled nice and fragrant. Then I added in a little pinch of flaky salt to bring out the flavours. Next I took my block of tempeh and just crumbled it up between my fingers into a mince until it resembled something like this. I then added the tempeh mince into the pan with the garlic, ginger, chilli and lemongrass, and just turned it through to get it all well coated and combined. Then I increased the heat and stir fried it off until it became a nice golden colour and slightly crispy on the outside as well. I then added in 3 tablespoons of a light soy sauce, then a tablespoon of vegan fish sauce, and also a good squeeze, around another tablespoon of balsamic glaze. Balsamic vinegar also works, but this adds in a little tanginess and a little sweetness too. I also added in 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and then just turned all of that through to again get it well coated in all of those flavours. I then took 2 spring onions and finely sliced those up, then added that into the pan too. I grated in the zest of a lime and squeezed in the juice of 1/2 a lime, turned all of those through. I added in some fresh coriander and then a handful of Thai basil, which I tore in. Regular basil also works for this. It can be hard to find Thai basil, so use that if you like. I just stirred it all through one more time to wilt down the basil slightly. Then I set the mince aside in a bowl, and in that same pan I added in a handful of shiitake mushrooms. I just stir fried those until they were a nice golden colour. I also added in some pak choi and allowed that to wilt down in the heat too. Then I set those to the side and added the mince back into the pan, along with some flat udon noodles, which I just cooked through and rinsed. And I then just turned the noodles lightly through the mince to get them to take on some of that flavour. I then plated up the noodles with the pak choi on the side, added the rest of the tempeh mince over the top, and the shiitake mushrooms on the side as well. I added on some more fresh coriander, some sliced red chilli, and some more basil leaves, some lime on the side. I love making my food look good anyway, but I also wanted to shoot this for the blog, so you can find the written recipe over there now too. And that was that. I originally was going to do this with TVP or soy mince, so that could also work. I just find tempeh mince to have more of a texture and it takes on a lot more flavour in my opinion, and it really did soak up all of those fragrant flavours of the garlic, ginger, chilli, lemongrass, the soy sauce, the vegan fish sauce and balsamic. And then the fragrant flavours of the lime and the coriander, Thai basil and spring onion work so nicely with it all. You could also have this over some steamed rice too. I love it with the noodles. Rice noodles would be great, and with the pak choy and the mushrooms on the side, it just adds something extra. You could use whatever veggies you like. I think this would also be really great for meal prep as it's easy to reheat, and also for work lunches too. Then for dessert, I just sliced up a peach. We've been getting these from a local Eastern European shop and they're so flavourful and juicy. I had it over some more Greek style yoghurt and some blueberries on top as well. And that's it for another What I Eat in a Day as a vegan. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, I love to know that you enjoy them. You can find the recipes down below and I will see you again very soon. Bye!